All right, let's talk about that moment. You know the one where a simple no somehow blossoms into a 5-minute monologue justifying your entire existence. Today, we're not just going to talk about why we overexplain, we're going to uncover the hidden architecture behind it. And trust me, what you learn might completely reframe how you see yourself.
I mean, you know that feeling, right? You say something basic, like you can't make it to dinner, and suddenly you're giving a TED talk on your schedule, your budget, and your cat's recent emotional state. It's like you're not just explaining, you're building a legal case for a jury that doesn't even exist.
And oh my gosh, it is so exhausting. It's not just in the moment either. It's the hours later, when you're replaying the whole conversation in your head, wondering, why did I do that? All I had to say was no.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting. Most of us treat this like a character flaw. We think, I'm just so anxious, or I'm so insecure. We beat ourselves up about it. But what if we've been looking at this all wrong? What if it's not a flaw at all?
This is the big idea we're diving into. The possibility that over-explaining isn't some glitch in your personality. What if it's a highly advanced skill, a language that you had to master when you were young, just to get through the day?
So yeah, let's completely reframe this. We are not talking about a flaw. We are talking about a dialect, a specific, learned way of communicating that you picked up for a very, very good reason. So let's define what we mean by that.
A survival language is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. Imagine being a kid, and you constantly feel like people are twisting your words, or you're always one wrong move away from getting in trouble. What do? You learn to adapt. You develop a way of talking that keeps you as safe as possible. And for so many of us, over-explaining becomes the main dialect of that language. In this language, it isn't just random rambling. It actually has a structure, almost like a building. And this whole thing is held up by 3 main pillars. Once you see these pillars, the whole behavior just clicks.
All right, pillar number 1 is defensive communication. This is that gut instinct to build an entire fortress of reasons before anyone has even asked a single question. You're not just answering, you're preemptively defending that answer against any possible criticism, real or imagined. It's a preemptive strike against judgment.
Then you've got the second pillar, and this one's driven by a really powerful fear: anticipatory rejection. This is the fear that if you leave any tiny gap in your logic, any room for misinterpretation, that the other person is going to get upset and pull away from you. So you just flood them with details, trying to seal every single crack before it can even form.
And the third pillar, well, this one is often the engine that powers the whole machine. It's validation seeking. It comes from a history of feeling unheard or dismissed. You just keep talking, keep adding more and more details because you're desperately searching for that signal, that little nod, that, oh, I get it, that finally makes you feel like you've been seen and believed.
And this right here, this is the core conflict, isn't it? A part of you, your inner child, is still running on that old software, achieve perfect clarity to stay safe. But the adult you want something different now. You want connection. The problem is, you're trying to achieve a new goal with the old tools. And sometimes, that desperate drive for clarity can actually push connection further away.
Okay, now we're getting to the heart of it all. The one idea, the one sentence that can make this entire pattern make perfect logical sense. It's the insight that shifts this from a frustrating habit to a story of your own incredible resilience.
Just think about it for a second. In that environment where you felt so misunderstood, what was the one thing, the one tool that could actually protect you? What lesson got wired into your brain over and over again?
This is it. You learned that clarity prevented punishment. Just let that sink in. Whether that punishment was getting yelled at or just the deep emotional pain of being misunderstood, you learned early on that a perfectly crafted, airtight explanation was your best defense. Maybe even your only defense.
So you didn't just get good at explaining things, you became an architect of explanations. You learned how to build these incredible, impenetrable walls of logic to protect your younger self. That thing you've been calling a flaw all these years, it was never a flaw. It was your armor. It was your shield.
So what do you do with this? You have this highly developed skill that has maybe outlived its original purpose. Well, the answer isn't to get rid of it or feel ashamed of it. The answer is to shift from automatic defense to conscious awareness, to start seeing this old language in a brand new light.
It really starts with 3 simple steps. First, just acknowledge it. When you catch yourself launching into that monologue, just notice it. No judgment. Just, there it is. Second, get curious. What's the feeling driving it? Is it fear? Is it anxiety?
And third, just by noticing, you create a tiny bit of space. And in that space, you have a choice. You get to ask, do I really need this shield for this conversation, or can I maybe set it down?
And this is the ultimate takeaway here. The goal is not to become some blunt, uncommunicative person. The real power is in understanding the why. When you know that powerful urge to over-explain is just an old survival program kicking in, you get back in the driver's seat. You can thank that instinct for protecting you for so long, and then consciously choose a different tool for right now.
So I'll just leave you with this to think about. If your explanations have been your shield, and you now know that you can choose when to set that shield down, who is the person standing behind it? What becomes possible when you start communicating not just for defensive clarity, but for